Now at 5, residents of the North Park Apartments in Joplin look to recover following last night's fire. Plus, how some Fort Scott residents are honoring underrepresented veterans of the Civil War and World War II. And
the Biden administration is once again calling on Israel to provide concrete plans to protect civilians in Gaza. I'm Skyler Henry at the White House with the latest from the war and the growing humanitarian crisis.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Some residents of the apartment building that burned overnight are now in a temporary shelter. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. That fire broke out at the North Park Apartments on East Newman Road just before 10 last night. Our reporter Amber Jenkins is there right now, and she joins us live.
And you can already see the debris filling up the first roll-off. 6 out of the 24 apartment building, 6 apartments were damaged by last night's fire. Firefighters evacuated 38 occupants out of the 3-story structure. The Joplin Fire Marshal is investigating. A local disaster response team arrived this morning after the fire for cleanup. The Red Cross set up a shelter for residents who were affected.
Being able to get some place to stay. We opened a shelter last night for those who were in need. Being able to have some peace is just things that kind of is going through their mind at this time.
And they're going to get us a hotel and stuff like that. And they gave us a little bit of funds, to help us out and stuff like that. So if that don't work out, I probably have to go move somewhere else,
On KOAM News at 6. Dow, back to you.
All right, Amber Jenkins. Thanks, Amber. Authorities in Pittsburgh charge a man they say broke into a home armed with a knife. Happened yesterday around 5:15 p.m. in the 900 block of East 8th Street. Police responded to a call about a man breaking into a home. When they arrived, the homeowner was outside and told them the suspect was inside. Officers went in and arrested 25-year-old Zach Camplin of Pittsburgh. He's charged with aggravated assault, criminal threat, and criminal damage to property. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy for a first look at the weather.
Well, of course, it turned out to be a pretty good day for us today. Temperatures a little bit warmer. Most of us lower 60s for highs. Still breezy out there. We're dry. We look good. Joplin, here's Pittsburgh. Temperatures sitting into lower 60s. 61 in Stockton, 62 Anderson, Bella Vista. Miami 64. We have 65 in Parsons. We'll slowly drop back as we go through the evening hours, but still kind of breezy. And really over the next week, we're going to have a lot of wind, but those northwesterly winds kicking in at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. They're going to back down a little bit tonight into tomorrow, but frost advisory, another frost across the region for us tonight. We're getting kind of late into the spring season, so we really don't want frost, but clear skies, not too much going on outside for us. The evening hours look pretty good. Thunderstorm chances, we're going to look at that here in just a bit.
See you soon. Community members today came together at the Fort Scott National Cemetery to recognize and remember those who've served our country. The University of Central Missouri, along with several local secondary educators, worked to research and create biographies about underrepresented veterans from the Civil War and World War II. Those who attended were separated into 4 groups, and each group was assigned a soldier.
What was really kind of exciting is that when you're out and you're exploring the site, the number of questions that are actually created rather than answered. So it brings that sense of inquiry and wonder. And, if that happens to adults who are teachers, I'm excited about what that could do for our students.
We're going to hear more from Angie and others tonight at 6. The U.S. might be on the verge of changing some of its support for Israel following the airstrikes on aid workers that killed 7 people, including a dual U.S.-Canadian citizen. Skyler Henry has more details now from the White House.
President Biden called Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and expressed outrage over the killing of 7 aid workers during an Israeli airstrike in Gaza.
All of us, but particularly the president, was certainly shaken by the attack on the WCK convoy.
The White House says Biden made it clear that Israel needs to announce concrete steps to protect civilians, aid workers, and address humanitarian suffering in Gaza in the next few hours and days.
If we don't see the changes that we need to see, there'll be changes in our own policy.
The humanitarian crisis is further challenged, with World Central Kitchen halting its operations in Gaza following the deaths of their workers. Other nonprofits have followed suit.
100% of the population in Gaza knows acute levels of food insecurity. 100% of the population is in need of humanitarian assistance.
Chef Jose Andres, the founder of World Central Kitchen, says he doesn't buy Israel's explanation. The strike was a mistake because his organization coordinates its movements with the Israeli military.
It was really a direct attack on a clearly marked vehicles.
The attack killed 33-year-old Jacob Flickinger, and his parents told CBS News they don't believe it was a mistake either.
The facts on the ground seem to indicate that it wasn't a quote, tragic accident.
Flickinger, a military veteran, leaves behind an 18-month-old son. Skyler Henry, CBS News, the White House.
Delaware Senator Chris Coons, one of President Biden's closest allies in Congress, says he believes any new U.S. military aid to Israel should now come with conditions to protect civilians. Emergency workers in Taiwan are looking for dozens of people who are still missing after the island was hit by its strongest earthquake of this century. At least 10 people were killed. More than 1,000 have been injured, while more than 100 are still missing, many among the island's mountains. Serious damage has been reported all around Taiwan. Still ahead, how women in the 4 states can get a mammogram screening free of charge. Plus, concerns over the spread of bird flu are rising as more animals and a human contract the virus. Those stories next in Health Watch. Topping today's Health Watch, Freeman Hospital in Neosho, Missouri is providing a life-saving screening to women free of charge. Women can get free mammograms at the hospital tomorrow from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. The free screenings are provided by the Helping Friends Mammogram Fund, which also provides free screenings every year at the Freeman Women's Center in Joplin. This is the first year it's been provided at the Neosho campus. A new study finds first-time mothers with breech pregnancies significantly lower their risk of complications if they deliver by cesarean instead of traditional delivery. But researchers in Denmark say cesarean births can increase the risk of uterus rupture in any subsequent pregnancies. There are more concerns about bird flu. Outbreaks of bird flu have been reported at poultry facilities, and America's largest egg producer is also dealing with the virus. This after a person in Texas tested positive for bird flu, catching it from a mammal, the first known case of that happening. Omar Villafranca has more from Plano, Texas.
Cal-Maine, the nation's largest egg producer, shut down production and culled more than 1.5 million chickens after a major bird flu outbreak at its Palmer County, Texas plant. The number represents less than 4% of the company's flock and less than 1% of chickens in the U.S.
All the eggs were destroyed. The chickens are going to be destroyed, so it's completely safe.
This comes as 6 states are reporting outbreaks of avian flu among dairy cows. This week, a Texas dairy worker had pink eye after testing positive for the virus, becoming only the second known human case in the U.S. Texas Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller says there's no reason for people to be alarmed.
The only way you could get it from eggs is if you ate them raw. I don't think that's going to be a problem. To consumers, eggs are safe.
You can't get bird flu from eating thoroughly cooked eggs or poultry, according to the USDA, who also advises you should wash your hands after touching raw poultry or eggs.
Go about business as usual. No spike in prices in either egg prices or dairy products. It's completely safe, no alarm, no need to change anything you're doing, really.
Omar Villafranca, CBS News, Plano, Texas.
The CDC says it's continuing to work with the USDA, FDA, and state health departments to monitor people exposed to animals infected with these viruses. That is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, using that daily cup of joe to keep an eye on climate change.
Plus, it's going to be another cold night for us tonight. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it definitely turned out to be a pretty nice Thursday for us today. Plenty of sunshine, still a little bit breezy, but overall a pretty good day. Temperatures is still below normal for this time of the year, but we're heading in the right direction. We're closing that gap just a little bit. It looks pretty good right now. Here's Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course. Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri, but crystal clear blue skies across the region. All right, frost advisory for us tonight. We had frost last night. We're going to see it again as we go through the overnight hours tonight, especially on the Missouri and the Kansas side. We're getting kind of late into the spring season, so that's why we get these advisories out here. But look at the temperatures drop through the overnight hours. So once we get to morning, a lot of 32s, 33s, 34s across the region. So it is going to be chilly. Right now we're sitting 60-ish and then low to mid 60s. Once you get out across Oklahoma and also parts of Kansas, looks good here. 7th and range line sitting at 61. West-northwesterly winds at about 15. So it is breezy. The winds will slowly calm down as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight, but still staying kind of breezy. We drop back through the 60s, 50s, 40s, eventually into the 30s. Clear skies for us tonight, and that's what we have right now. Clear skies across the entire Central Plains. Storm system moving out. And if we look toward the west, see this little bump here in the upper level flow? That is a ridge of high pressure, and that's going to help us warm up. And then there's our next storm system out across parts of California, which will start to affect us as we go into the weekend. All right, so temperatures cold by morning. We get some mid and upper level clouds. So by the noon hour, we're sitting upper 50s. 4 highs tomorrow. We should go to about 67, 68 degrees, which is right where we should be for the first week of April. Tomorrow night, clouds kind of shooting through, not near as cold. We drop back upper 40s for overnight lows. And then by Saturday, we get up into the mid 70s. Now, watch this. We get some clouds working in late in the day, and as we get into the evening hours, some scattered thunderstorms start to work in to our western counties. So here's 8 p.m. They drive east, bands of showers and thunderstorms. Here's 10 p.m. We can go to midnight, mainly on the Missouri side, and then most of these out of here by about 2 o'clock in the morning, and then we clear out just in time for Sunday morning. But we do have a low severe threat. This is a level 1 out of 5, mainly on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side. So this is for Saturday night. All the threats are going to keep low, 7 p.m. to midnight, but definitely something I want to watch as we go through the next few days. All right, day planner for you Friday. 35 to start, 59 by noon, 65 by 4, high temp of 67 degrees. And of course, the solar eclipse is on Monday. So if you're heading to totality, we have a little bit of a problem because we are going to get some clouds which start to push through the region. And with those clouds, we may not get the best shot of seeing totality. So I'm going to stop this at 1:30 on Monday. You can see down through parts of Arkansas, a lot of clouds. We're going to talk more about that tonight at 6. 67 for you tomorrow, 75 Saturday, 70 on Sunday, and then some showers next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Watching closely on the weather forecast for the time of totality for that eclipse.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Doug. Scientists say the effects of climate change are threatening a morning ritual for millions who cherish that cup of coffee. Researchers overseas are rolling out new technology to help preserve the treasured tradition. Tina Krause has that story.
A strong cup of Java is known to give a buzz. But plants are the ones getting wired up at this coffee plantation in Tanzania. Solar-powered sensors are helping researchers keep tabs on the effects of climate change.
The idea is to have this technology attached to some plants that will be our like the voice of the plantation.
Italian scientists attached electrodes to 20 plants at this coffee farm in East Africa.
That's what you want, you know?
To monitor how a changing climate can tweak the taste of Arabica coffee. Arabica beans make up more than half of the world's coffee. And in Tanzania, where much of it is grown, trouble is brewing with unpredictable rainfall and extended droughts.
I saw suddenly an acceleration of competition for the water. But also less water flow in the river, the double effect.
The tech team says electrodes attached to the plants record and decode their electrical signals to reveal what they need, like water or more sun, helping to boost yield, enhance sustainability, and optimize irrigation.
If proven successful for coffee crops, this system principle could be applied to a wide range of agricultural sectors affected by climate change.
Researchers are already looking to up their game with artificial intelligence to create a smart system alerting farmers when it's time to take action. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
European researchers predict climate change will slash the amount of land suitable for cultivating coffee worldwide by as much as 50% before the year 2050. Popular tax break for small businesses is ending soon. Coming up, we're going to look at efforts to keep it going. Topping today's Consumer Watch, a major tax relief is on track to expire for small business at the end of next year. But a coalition of companies is doing all it can to push lawmakers to not only keep the rate reduction, but also rewrite the law. Skylar Henry reports.
For more than 110 years, craftsmanship has driven the work at Susquehanna Glass Company, tucked in a blue-collar neighborhood in south central Pennsylvania.
They wanted us to be doing monogramming, and we were hand-cutting the monogramming.
Walt Rowan owns the glass etching shop his great-uncle started, but he's worried what will happen to his company's bottom line if a key tax policy expires at the end of next year.
As a small business owner, I make decisions all the time about what do I spend in a given year on salaries, on equipment.
Rowan is co-chair of the national coalition Small Business for America's Future and is urging lawmakers to not let the law lapse and make changes. The 2017 provision cut taxes for larger companies, known as C corporations, from 35% to 21%. Smaller companies that file as a pass-through business also saw a reduction, but from 39% to about 28%.
In the end, the taxing system in this country needs to be perceived by Americans as being fair.
Small business is the backbone of the country. We employ half the people in this country.
Ann Zimmerman owns a small accounting firm in Ohio and says securing a larger tax cut would help her expand, while the expiration of the tax break will leave her stuck.
What's at stake if nothing changes?
The future of small business, and therefore the strength of our economy.
Zimmerman and Rowan say new language needs to be carved out in Congress to help close the gap between small businesses and large corporations. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Columbia, Pennsylvania.
With tax filing season in full bloom, the IRS is out with the latest Dirty Dozen list of the most common tax scams. Phishing and smishing are at the very top. That's when scammers will email or text you trying to get sensitive information. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger has tips on how to avoid scams, including that the IRS will never threaten legal action, promise a refund, or send an email or text demanding immediate payment. She says scammers are preying on fear and greed. Final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, a small Midwestern town gets a rare eclipse double feature. Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to have more on the recovery efforts for residents of Joplin's North Park Apartments following last night's fire. Plus, a ribbon cutting for a new FBI field office in Kansas City brings the head of the Bureau to Missouri. And the Adam LaRoche varsity baseball tournament kicks off in Fort Scott with the home team taking on Blue Valley North. We're going to have the highlights. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Clear skies, but it's going to be another chilly night, Doug.
It is. Temperatures right around 33, 34 degrees. So again, patchy frost across the region. 67 on your Friday. Friday looks great. 75 Saturday. It is going to be windy. We are going to get some evening scattered thunderstorms. And then Sunday overall looking pretty good. So most of the weekend shaping up nice.
That looks promising. Thanks for joining us. CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. See you then. Let's make it a great evening.